I'm trying. What up, party people in the house? It's Dynasty War Games. I'm your host. I'm Jesse Schneeman. I'm here with my wonderful co-hosts. We're all here. All back together. First co-host.
This is
Quarterback prospect, Clayton Toon, Major Mike Casper. What's up, Mike?
what's up, Jesse?
Man, I'm telling you, you have a doppelganger. He looks just like you.
Well, I could only hope.
And of course, my main man, Chad Mendoza. How you doing tonight, man? Chad?
I'm doing all right, man. I love the intro. These things can never go smoothly for us. No matter.
Well, I clicked go live 3 times before it actually listened to me. So that's what that was about.
Oh, we're trying, guys.
We are. We're having a good time. Hey, what we did do was pay attention to the combine. I watched it all weekend. It was a lot of fun. So we're going to have some combine talk. Before that, Chad, I'm going to put you on the spot. What are the Giants going to do with their 2-star free agents? What's going to happen?
I think as of right now, I think they get both taken care of. But I think that's a little bit optimistic. I don't know. I mean, there's a chance if they franchise Daniel Jones, Saquon's gone. So, it all predicates on Daniel Jones signing that contract. So we'll see how it goes. But man, I really hope they both stay.
So they're just not going to pay Saquon what he wants. Is that what you're saying?
No, because the cap hit. So if they franchise Daniel Jones, that's a massive cap hit, and they need to get new receivers in. They need to shore up the offensive line. They need some defensive help. They just can't afford Saquon at that point. So it's one of those things. The best case scenario I think for me is getting both deals done and being reasonable, which. I mean, you can't blame these guys for not being reasonable, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens.
What if they use the non-exclusive tag on Dimes? Do you think that would help the cap a bit? Allow them to? Well, you can only tag one player, right?
Yeah.
So if they use the non-exclusive, I think it's only 35 mil instead of 45 mil, and
no. So the tag I think is 33 if I remember correctly. It's around there, 32, 33, somewhere around there.
So no one's going to really go out and sign him to an offer sheet if you do that, right? Because they'd have to give up 2 firsts.
Yeah.
Nobody's giving up 2 firsts and paying top dollar for Dimes.
No. Yeah, that'd be a safe way to go. But I think they want to get a deal done with him.
Yeah, of course.
So I think they're going to use the franchise tag if they have to, but I think that comes at the expense of Barkley.
Yeah. Well. Oof, man! What if Barkley were to go to the Eagles?
I don't think that would happen.
Why?
Because
you don't want it to?
No, because Barkley's a Giant. He's not going to the Eagles.
Okay, right on. There's a massive opening in the Eagles' backfield, and they happen to have a GM that knows how to get things done. So
yeah, not happening. Dream on, buddy.
Yeah, I will. that is just a fantastic dream. Mike, question about the Broncos. What do you think they're going to do at running back? So, I mean, you can't depend on Javonte, right? And everybody else is sort of whatever. So
I honestly don't think our GM's one who's going to pay up, quote unquote, for a free agent running back, and I don't like any of them, to be honest. So here's what I think is going to happen. You ready for this one? It's going to blow your mind.
All
so they're going to bring Latavius Murray back. Number one, because he did well, and he's going to be able to cover for while Javonte recovers. He's already been with Sean Payton, so they're going to bring him back super cheap.
Oh, that's true.
But
it's a nice spot connector.
What I would love to see, depending on what happens with legal proceedings, is a trade for Alvin Kamara to the Broncos.
Wow. Okay, but he's going to miss the first 6 weeks or so.
Sure. It's all right.
I mean, that doesn't – okay.
Matt Murray can fill that, but I think he's owed quite a bit anyways, and I don't know if New Orleans will want to keep him around, and maybe Sean will stick his neck out for him.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
That and let's just put Michael Thomas in that trade too. So they'll trade for Michael Thomas.
Oh, Michael Thomas too. Oh
Right.
boy, nice. Yeah. Michael Thomas is gonna get cut, I assume.
I can see him coming to Denver, especially if he gets cut. That would be interesting.
Yeah, and he's gonna have to sign a 1-year, prove it, probably $5 to $8 million kind of deal.
Yeah. So I just want more weapons, so there's no excuses this year.
Yeah, well, you have a coach, so I think you're fine. You know, I think you have a coach that is going to work with Russell and that Russell wants to work with. He wanted no parts of Nathaniel Hackett. It really looked like he wasn't even trying for him. You know, as soon as Hackett got
it was just weird.
Yeah, as soon as Hackett got fired, well, maybe Russ just took a nice long dump and just started to feel better. You know.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go with that.
That's what he needs.
Whatever it takes.
The other, I mean, I guess this is applicable to, the Broncos and the, aforementioned Giants, but this is a good class to really need a running back without, spending a shit ton on one. I think there's going to be some really good running backs in the 4th round. And I could see, Denver going out and getting a guy they think can be a 3-down back in case of emergency with Javonte Williams. So, and I can see them doing the same thing with, maybe less so with the Giants, just because they need so many other pieces. But, that is a possibility as well, is just getting a guy and saying, okay, just in case we can't get the deal done with Saquon, or, we can't get the deal with Saquon, we need to go out and get a guy and not spend a lot on him. So,
yeah, it's funny. I think all 3 of our teams are kind of in line to do that. The Eagles, Larry Roseman's never been one to take a running back high. Miles Sanders is the highest running back he drafted, and that was mid-2nd round, I guess. So I could see us taking a 3rd round running back, see who falls to that point and whoever they like, whatever style they want. I do think that the mocks of the Eagles taking Jahmyr Gibbs at the end of the 1st round are ridiculous. He doesn't fit our system. Running quarterback, don't throw to running backs, and especially in our system, like we don't throw to running backs very often. We used Gainwell a little bit, but that's not a mainstay of our offense. It would be a complete waste of talent on our offense. I don't see it. If Bijan somehow was there, I could see that, but that's kind of a pipe dream. He's not going to last.
Yeah, speaking of Bijan, do you guys want to get into the combine?
I do. Yes. Nice segue. Can I ask you guys about a trade though first, real quick?
Yeah, sure. Let's hear it.
All right. So I was going back and forth with a guy in a league today. Nice guy. Really, he's new to the league. Really good dude. Seems like he's been just kind of trying to rebuild his team, and he took over a real dog. So he's trying to flip some assets, and he picked up Pitts at a trade, and I'm interested in him, but the price is, to me, outrageous. I mean, I understand DTC agrees with him. What do you guys think about Lance and the 107 for Pitts? And I got to give him Chick.
Probably. What's the premium?
I think it's 1.5.
I think that's about right, to be honest. I mean, it's just, if I'm betting on a player, I'm betting on Pitts over Lance. It's pretty easy. The 107 is kind of tough for me just because I like the quarterbacks in this class, and I think the last one that's going to be available is either going to be Levis or Richardson, which I'm fine with, either one of those guys there at 107. And so if you're asking me, if I'm giving up, Levis or Richardson and Trey Lance and Chig, that's tough. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it just depends on how you see that 107. If you miss out on those quarterbacks and you're just taking a wide receiver there, like Addison or somebody, which I like Addison a lot, but
or Tucker,
with that premium, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's tough. I would say it's kind of you got to pay up for Pitts still. Nobody's going to give him cheap.
Yeah, there's no discount. Like I've heard other places that there was a Pitts discount. I haven't seen it. I mean, obviously. So, I thought it was a fair offer, and I let it sit for a while, and I thought about it before I rejected it. It wasn't like an auto reject or anything. It's just, I think it comes down to, for me, number one, I'm in a rebuild. And do I want to give up a bunch of pieces for one player when I'm rebuilding and I need almost everything? And number two, I think I'd rather take the risk and hold Lance and assume that he's going to start for someone this year and regain some value. Or am I? Where's that?
No, I'm on you. I definitely lean the Lance side, and I think there probably is more value there, especially with Chig. I think Chig needs to be taken out of the trade. I think the discussion has to be Lance and the 107 for Pitts. That I think is fairly close, and even there, I still lean the Lance side.
Yeah, it was giving me back like Josh Palmer in a fourth or something. It's stuff that I didn't really want.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, no, I agree with pretty much everything Chad said there. I think it's really close. I could see either, if I was on a rebuild, I'd probably go with the Lance side. Hope I get some value spike in one of the quarterbacks or whatever I get there at the 107, and then trade it off and continue to rebuild. But
also, realistically, that 107 is probably way more. If a quarterback does fall to 107, it's way more valuable at that point when I'm on the clock.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, I agree with that.
I hate trading draft picks this time of year because I don't know what's going to be there. I can be selling.
Well, that's part of the allure, right? Like I think now's the time. Everybody says, "Well, I don't want to trade it yet because I don't know what's going to happen." But now's the time to really try to get a feel of what you think is going to happen. Because, I mean, if you're as crazy about dynasty as the three of us are, you probably know more than your league mates do, or you have a better feel for what might happen than your league mates do. So find your league mates that don't really follow football in the offseason that well. Try to take advantage of them there. But there's definitely ways to position yourself in the offseason when, there are some uncertainties, but you can take advantage of people who are not really following things at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll try that in the DWZ Patreon league.
Yeah, that might be the exception.
All right, I think I'm gonna steal Jesse's job now. Does that sound cool? I'm gonna take over. I'm gonna ask the questions.
Yes, you do it, Mike.
Let's do it. All right. So I'm gonna be honest. I did not get to watch any of the combine live, so I'm just looking at some of the stats right now. Pleasantly pleased. But yeah. So first one is gonna be, who wowed you guys the most at the combine that you were just like, wow, that guy had a heck of a combine. And obviously, we're talking just fantasy relevant players here.
Yeah, Chad, you.
Anthony Richardson. I mean, easily. I don't think there was another player that fantasy relevant player that wowed me as much as he did. Bijan's combine was nice, but it wasn't like a Saquon combine or even a Jonathan Taylor combine.
So for the ignorant Chad, what wowed you the most about it?
I mean, he's just probably the best athlete the NFL has ever seen at the quarterback position, which I wasn't expecting.
Except for Randall Cunningham.
Shut up, Jesse. That's just not true. But so we've been going back and forth about this in the DWZ Patreon chat. Yeah. Anyways, at 244, the things that Richardson did at his combine were absolutely unbelievable. And, I knew he was going to be a plus athlete. I mean, it's easy to see he's going to be an elite athlete. I just didn't expect for him to put up an all-time performance. And I think that does change things a little bit for me as far as, how I'm willing to buy into him a little bit because, being an elite athlete buys you time to try to become a better quarterback. We've seen that with Justin Fields, and maybe that's not Justin Fields' fault as far as, the situation he's in with everything being bad around him. But you can see with that situation, his athleticism is what's gotten his value to the point where it is right now. And so even if Richardson needs time, if he can use that athleticism and somebody can take advantage of that, whatever offense that is, he's gonna keep that value, and you're gonna be able to move on from him in the future, even if you feel like he's never going to develop. So,
and Chad, do you think and Jesse, you can chime in too. Do you think he's jumped either the, Stroud or Bryce Young as far as expected draft position who'd be drafted higher?
First of all, I just want to say, Chad, stop whining. Stop crying.
Yeah, I heard that in the background.
I think my kid's watching a dinosaur show on Netflix right now. It's like a Pixar dinosaur show. And so every time he watches it, it's not whining. He's roaring. He's trying to scare. He's trying to scare everybody.
Nice.
So I think that's what he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah, that didn't sound like a cry from him. So he's raw. That's what he's doing right now.
I thought you were crying.
Go ahead, Jesse. You answer first.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Do you think he's Anthony Richardson because of his performance at the combine? Do we think he's gonna be drafted ahead of a Stroud or a Young? And maybe make this a two-parter. I would love to see him in Seattle or Detroit, to be honest. And do you have a preference there?
I don't think he's jumped either one of them because CJ Stroud had a hell of a combine. Not as far as testing numbers go because he didn't run or jump. I don't think any of them jumped. Oh no, some of them did, but he did not. But he looked so good throwing the ball in the throwing drills, man. CJ Stroud was real smooth. And Bryce Young is going to look great at his pro day. I mean, that's what it's for. I don't think he has and especially with Bryce Young coming in at 204, Mike.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's 2 or 3 pounds less than Kyler. So he's right there. I think he takes all those questions out the window. He was eating creatine burgers. It's probably why he didn't work out, is because he just was getting fat over the last couple of weeks.
Probably.
Yeah. But no, I think what it did was solidified him as a top 5 pick. But I don't think that he's jumped either of those guys. Although all it takes is one NFL team to disagree with me and think that he's got the potential to be better than any of the other guys. So all it takes is a team that wants upside, that is shooting for the upside over the safer, Stroud or Bryce Young.
What about you, Chad?
Chad?
Sorry about that. Muted myself by accident. But yeah, no, I don't think he's jumped either one of them. I think he's still in that 3 or 4 range, depending on who you talk to. But I still like Levis a little bit more, I would say. As it's hard for me to change that opinion this late. But, depending on landing spot, that could definitely change because that is a big, big, big thing. But as of right now, he's still 4 for me, and I think he's going to get drafted probably 4th. I mean, I could see a team, loving his intangibles and going up for him. And maybe he is the 3rd guy off the board. And if he does land in Seattle, I think that is the best landing spot, in my opinion. So I would love that, especially because he could sit a year behind Geno, which I think would be beneficial.
And lean on the running game. And I think Pete Carroll knows how to use a quarterback like that. I think they'd be really good. That'd be a really good match. I will also add, though, Mike, that it wasn't all spectacular for Richardson. So in the throwing drills, he wowed with the deep ball. Like, he really showed off the arm strength. He was throwing it from his own 9 and hitting receivers on the 30, on the other 30. So, 60 balls on a rope every time. And it really looked pretty. But then the intermediate throws were inaccurate as hell. I don't think he connected a single post route. So it looked awful. So the accuracy is a real problem right now, but that obviously can be coached.
Gotcha. And who wowed you the most, Jesse?
I'm going to go with Marvin Mims. Coming in, I was hopeful.
Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Woo, got it.
I was hopeful that he would test well, but I honestly did not think that he would. He ran a 4.38. Let's look at his vert. I believe was pretty good. I'm bringing up numbers here. Actually, not great at vert.
Vert was 39.5. Broad jump 10.9. 3.69.
Yeah. So really good testing numbers, better than I thought. And he's a bit bigger than I thought as well. So sorry, give me 1 sec to bring up Marvin Mims. Do you have his size right there, Mike?
I'm not sure if this is his combine. This is on NFL.com. It says 5'11", 183.
Yeah, that's it. So that's bigger than I thought he'd be. I thought he'd be in the 170s. Yeah, 5'11", 183. So not as small as I thought, faster than I thought. Just tested better all around. They're giving him a starter grade on NFL Network. I could see that.
Okay.
155 split, 10-yard split, which is pretty good. 39.5 vert, which is near elite. If not elite, I'm not sure. I think you got to be around 40, 41 to be elite. But 10.9 broad jump is really good. And here's the 3-cone is a 6.9. So yeah, testing numbers really, really much better for Marvin Mims. To me, he's a high second rounder at this point, pending draft capital. But I think, in the NFL draft, he's going to go in the second round. What do you think, Chad?
Yeah, I like Marvin Mims. I think there's a good chance he goes in the second or the third. So yeah, I mean he's one of those good guys to find yourself with in the second round of rookie drafts. So of dynasty rookie drafts.
Yeah, definitely kind of took himself from to me a late second round average prospect to a really good high second rounder. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets better draft capital than I expect. Wouldn't be surprised if he snuck into the late first round of some rookie drafts.
Yeah, I'd be shocked at that, to be honest. For me, if he crept into the first round,
we'll see. I mean,
it's going to depend on draft capital and where he actually ends up. But
right. If he gets the perfect landing spot and really good draft capital, I'm saying that it could happen. I
think there's still for me, there's still 5 or 6 wide receivers firmly ahead of him. But yeah, I mean, I like him as a good second round option.
For personally. Sure, 4. Yeah, and depending on how you feel about Downs, he didn't compete though, did he?
Yeah, Downs. He had a pretty good day at the combine.
So that's actually. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm going to steal your job. We didn't get to Downs last week, Chad. You were teasing that you were down on him. Can you say why? Can you tell us why?
Well, I thought he was going to be a little bit slower than he actually was.
Okay.
In the 40, and I mean, I like him. I mean, he's a very productive wide receiver. It just, there was a lot of people talking about him a month or so ago as being 106, 107 range, which I just don't see that.
Oh, wow.
That's not where I'm going to pick him.
I mean, so, he's 4.48. It's not like he's a blazer. He's fast.
No, 4.48 is a good time for him, though. That's a really good time for him.
Okay.
I think that's better than what a lot of people kind of expected.
5'9", 171, North Carolina prospect. 4.48, 40, 149, 10-yard split, which is really good. 38.5 vert, which is good. 10, 11 broad jump is really good. So, yeah, good testing numbers. Yeah, it was a good. You're right. It was a good day for Josh Downs. So, all right, he's again firmly in the high second round for me. I liked his tape better than I liked Marvin Mims. I think he can do more than Mims.
I think him and Mims are just kind of in that same tier for me. I like Downs a little bit better than Mims, but
yeah, same. Yeah, right.
I just don't like them as much as the Addisons and Quentin Johnsons and JSNs and Zay Flowers and those guys.
Right. Yeah, I definitely have. Yeah, for sure.
Jalen Hyatt's another guy that I have above those two. So
go Big Orange.
All right. Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
All right. So who do you think took the biggest fantasy hit because of the combine? And I'm thinking Kyron Williams last year. He pretty much tanked after he ran a super slow 40. Do you think there's anyone that's testing really kind of came in really small, super slow? Or
do you have anybody off the top of your head, Jesse?
Not off the top of my head, actually. kind of thinking about it. Do you, Chad?
I
mean, I have one.
The one that really sticks out for me is Tucker, because he just didn't compete, which blows my mind. Like the fact that he didn't even run,
Well, he and Zach Evans both. I have to because we didn't see either one of them. I have to think that there's injury situation going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you would think that would be reported because there was guys that were injured, and their agents are quick to throw out like, "Hey, they've got some injuries." But there was no report on them being injured at all that I saw. And I mean, if that is the case, then yeah, I'm an idiot and just missed it. But
no, I couldn't find anything. But that doesn't mean. I mean, these guys are amateur athletes, so they don't have to share their information at all. Their injuries.
No. But it's in their best interest too if they're hurt.
Yeah, but they may have made that that information available to NFL teams and not the public.
Yeah.
There are HIPAA laws involved.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that they're forced to. I'm just saying, I think it would be in their best interest to get out in the public that they're not, just skipping out on the combine because they're scared. Because you have Goddard on the broadcast talking about how he didn't run a 40 because he knows he's slow and he didn't want that information out to the public.
To be perfectly honest, if I'm a prospect, I don't give a shit what the public thinks. I care what NFL teams think. And if I'm good with the NFL teams and they know that I'm injured and that I'm either going to run at my pro day or I'm not, then that's that. I honestly don't give a shit what Twitter thinks.
Yeah, I mean, I just, yeah, I mean, you're right. Like public opinion, I just think never hurts, and it doesn't, it doesn't hurt anything to tell people, like it's not like people are going to be like.
So these guys have a lot of pride, though, and honestly, HIPAA laws exist for a reason. And so if some people don't want their medical information being public, I can understand that. Some people.
We know you love Sean Tucker, Jesse, but the fact is he didn't compete. I doubt he's injured. He didn't compete. I love Sean Tucker, but he didn't even try to show off his best attributes. And he's not the best running back in the class. He's not a guy that is locked in as a, day one pick, if there is a such thing for a running back. So I just don't get it. I mean, in my opinion, that hurts him a ton because he didn't weigh what we thought he would weigh, and he just didn't do anything else. Like he came in smaller and did nothing.
Actually, no, he was 208. He was listed at 205 in college.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was going to come in at least 210.
If he's hurt and can't work out,
Jesse, he's not hurt. He's not hurt.
You're gonna have to wait for info on that.
He's not hurt.
So my answer, Mike, is two guys that did actually compete, and there are two guys that I thought hurt their stock, both of them, and they both went to the same school. Go Big Orange. I thought Jalen Hyatt running above a 4.4 really hurt his case, considering that's his calling card and that's supposed to be his elite trait. A 4.41 is not bad. That's legit NFL deep speed, but he was supposed to be, Ruggs fast, and he's not.
He was 4.40. I mean, he was the sixth fastest wide receiver. It's not bad.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to hurt him too much.
I think it hurts him. I think it takes him out of the first round conversation.
Oh, I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. There's still talk about him being the first wide receiver off the board from some mock drafters. So they're obviously hearing something.
Wow.
And these NFL teams already have their GPS times and stuff.
Sure, that's true. The other one's Cedric Tillman. He did not test the way I thought he would. Not that I thought he did not test poorly. He tested pretty average across the board. I thought he was going to test more freakishly, and he didn't. So I think that hurts him a bit. It might take him down to third round.
I'm just going to disagree with that again.
Okay. So, let's
makes for a good podcast, right? But no, I just knew he was going to be an average performer at the combine.
I thought he was going to run better. 6'3", 213 is a big boy, but
he's not a good athlete. That's the one thing I am disappointed about. I thought he would be heavier.
I thought he was 220.
Yeah, I thought he would be heavier, and I thought he would be a little bit taller than he actually came in at.
Mhm.
So that is a bit of a disappointment. But as far as the actual numbers go, that's right in line with what I thought he would do. He's
So
just he's not a great athlete.
yeah,
He's an average athlete.
4.54 40 for his size is average.
Yeah, it's average. Yeah.
1.53 10-yard split is above average. 37-inch vert is average. 10.8 broad jump actually is above average. That's pretty good.
Hyatt had a 40-inch vert.
What's that?
Yeah, I thought Hyatt did well. I think he's going to be fine.
He did have a 40-inch vert, so yeah, that's true. That is good. But again, the case that I've heard made for him is that he has this super elite attribute, his speed, and he didn't show it. So, I mean, he showed that he's fast, not super elite fast.
Okay, this is just a bonus for me. So there's one guy that I really enjoyed seeing the testing numbers for because I really like him, and he's kind of the below the radar wide receiver that I really like, and that's Rashee Rice. And he jumped out of the building on his vert.
Yeah, he led all receivers with 41 inches, right?
Yeah, and I was scared he was going to run really slow, but he ran a 4.5, which is fine for him.
Yeah,
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's a good receiver who's going to find himself drafted probably around late day 2, I think, or maybe even mid early round 3. But I really like him.
I know he because he went to SMU. I'm pretty sure he broke all of Emmanuel Sanders's records.
Yeah, yep.
So
there's something about SMU receivers. I always just really like them.
Right.
They're a feisty bunch, but I really like Rashee Rice. I'm pulling for the Giants to draft him. He's a guy that I think can outperform his draft capital. At least where they're saying he's going to go right now.
4.51, 149 split, 41-inch vert. Yeah, dude's 6'1", 204, and he plays like Debo. He'll run you over.
Interesting.
I thought he was measured bigger than that. I thought Rashee Rice was bigger than that, but oh well.
All right. Well, you guys haven't talked about the running backs yet, and everyone's hot and heavy about the
Before we do that, I have one more surprise.
Okay. Go for it.
Jonathan Mingo, holy shit!
Yeah, Mingo. Yeah.
Damn, I just let me bring him up. So yeah,
Mississippi, Jonathan Mingo.
Mississippi Jonathan Mingo, really deep
wide receiver
player.
Okay.
Did he go to the Senior Bowl? I know he's a senior. I just can't. I don't remember if he went to the Senior Bowl or not.
He did go to the Senior Bowl and actually had positive reports.
That's good.
6'2", 220. Dude is a monster and looks every bit of. He's ripped, right? 4.46 40 at that size. I thought he was going to be slow as shit. 1.54 split, 39.5-inch vert, and was second best with 22 bench press reps, which is really good for a wide receiver. So the dude is big and strong and fast. 4.46 for a guy 6'2", 220. That's sick. I did not think Jonathan Mingo was going to be that. He is my vote for this year's Alec Pierce sort of size speed strength kind of guy. I guess Pierce doesn't really have the strength part of it, but add some strength to Alec Pierce and you might have Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah, but Pierce is a big boy too, so.
Yeah, he is. He is a big boy. So this is kind of he kind of came out of nowhere to be a late second round, early third round pick in rookie drafts last year. I think Mingo might be able to kind of pull off the same thing.
Yeah, it's a little confusing for me just because I know a lot of the criticism of him has been around his ability to separate. Mm-hmm. And so with that 40 time, it's just a head scratcher a little bit because you're like, okay, why can't this guy separate? If he has that speed and that size, he should be able to get out of his breaks and find some space, but he hasn't been able to, and his production numbers kind of show that. He just wasn't a very productive player.
Yeah, so he played slot in college, which is weird. for that size. So he's like a big slot.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
Very raw. Can't run a route. Didn't run a 3-cone, so we don't know what his agility looks like. But I mean, I have watched him. He's not like very agile. He's not going to get open with quickness. That's for sure.
Yeah, but you think with that speed he'd be able to pull away from some defensive backs. But yeah, interesting. It'll be I mean, it was very impressive his performance at the combine for sure.
I guess maybe reminds me a little of Victor Cruz. Big slot, does it with strength and athleticism, like strength and speed and athleticism, but isn't necessarily going to separate.
Yeah, I know the comp they threw out on the broadcast, I think was like his name slipped my mind. The Cardinal.
Larry Fitz?
No, not Fitz. Fitz's partner in crime. Very physical. Anquan Bolden. Yep. Okay. That's what they threw out on the broadcast.
Gotcha. I was going to say maybe Colston, Marquez Colston. Because he was also a big slot. He was like the original big slot that I can remember. Not saying Sean Payton invented that position. Like he and Victor Cruz were kind of the first one.
I think he's probably quite a bit bigger than Victor Cruz. Yeah, as far as weight. Because what was he like 215, 220? Mingo? 220, yeah. Oh yeah, so he's definitely bigger. Because I think Cruz is around.
I mean, that's a monster to be running that fast.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Keep your eye on him. All right, yeah, let's move on to running back. You're muted, Mike.
Yep, that's because I was coughing earlier. So who impressed you guys most at running back and why?
You, Chad.
I'm gonna say Zach Charbonnet. I thought he had a really good combine. I think if you didn't go into the combine with the expectation that he was gonna run a 4.4, which I don't know where that came from, but apparently people were showing me in DMs and stuff that some draft sites had him running a 4.44 or something like that.
Yeah,
which is nuts. I mean, that should have never been an expectation for him. But I think a 4.53, 4.52 or something like that. Forgot what his time was, but I think that's a solid time for him. 4.53. So yeah, that's a solid time for him. And I think his split was okay. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head. Average vert and yeah, I mean, but and then in the drills and stuff, he looked really quick. His feet looked quick. And I thought he just had a pretty decent day. He probably tested out, in the top, maybe, I don't even want to say, but I think in the top, few backs, I think maybe top 10 or something. So for me, I think that's a good day for him, especially with his size and his ability to break tackles and stuff. So
9th out of the guys that ran.
9th, nice. Okay.
Faster than Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, which is good. Good. What did Tank Bigsby run?
4.56.
Oh yeah.
Both times actually, I watched it. It's not impressive. Although he looked really good in drills. Bigsby, he didn't drop anything. He looked exactly like Tank Bigsby.
Yeah.
Just does everything exactly right, but not really isn't going to wow you. I'm going to go with. It's hard to say because I have to say that I wasn't really wowed by a lot of guys. Chase Brown kind of jumped out at me a little bit. Ran a 4.43. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go Deuce Vaughn is really who impressed me the most, and not with the numbers. Just watching the drills. He was really fun out there with the wide. Did you watch him, Chad?
Yeah, man, that's what I was looking forward to the most. I think I put that out in the Patreon chat where I was like, Deuce Vaughn's the guy that I'm just super excited about with the drills because he's going to be super freakishly, dynamic, but also just kind of funny to look at because he's 5'5". So.
Well, and he was. He was really smooth catching the ball, Really, he looked bursty and dynamic. And so did A-Chain, to be honest. His 40 might have been a little bit disappointing. 4.32. I can't get it out with a straight face that 4.32 is disappointing. But Chad and I were talking before he ran, and we were both hoping he would go,
Yeah,
Chad
under 4.3 or
Chad said 4.22. I said 4.28.
I see. And I thought I was crazy because I was like, man, he's gonna he has a chance of running really freaking fast, like low. I don't think did I say 4.22? I know I said low 4.2s.
I think you said 4 low 4.2s. I thought you said
okay.
4.2.
So yeah, I thought it was possible he would run in the low 4.2s, and then when he ran what he did, I was like, I almost dropped an F-bomb, but I was like, man, I must be insane.
Oh, that's okay. We've been explicit for a while. You can say fuck all you want.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So, but then I heard, Daniel Jeremiah come out and say that, he thought that A-Chain had a chance of breaking the record, the 40 record. So I was like, okay, I'm not crazy because I thought he was really freaking fast. But yeah, apparently, maybe he just didn't have his best day, or
he is really freaking fast. And I'll be honest, none of these times were what I thought they would be. So maybe it was a slow track. Maybe there was a headwind. These things, when you're talking about fractions of a second, those things matter.
Yeah. Well, I feel like too, with someone like A-Chain, I feel like he's one of the ones where there's more questions about his weight than anything else. So do you put on a lot of that water weight and stuff when you go into the combine and run with that weight you're not used to having? I don't know.
Yeah, he weighed in 188, which is very impressive for me. So I guess that, the fact that he ran that fast at that weight, he was not draftable before the combine for me. And once I saw those, once I saw the weight number, and he can actually perform at that weight, I'm good.
What's crazy to me is he only weighed in at 10 pounds less, or maybe 11 pounds less, and half an inch shorter than Gibbs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but those 11 pounds.
No, I know, but I thought it was going to be significantly more than that. I thought Gibbs was going to weigh in, at maybe 205, hoping for 205, 207 range around there. And I thought he was 5'11, and he ended up being 5'9 and 198 or 199 or wherever he came in at. But I just remember being shocked by that. And then, compared to A-Chain, who I thought was going to be a little bit lighter than he came in at, and a little bit maybe even shorter than he came in at. So the difference just isn't as jarring as I thought it would be.
Deuce Vaughn was heavier than I thought he would be as well. Maybe that's why he didn't run the 40. But A-Chain ran the Deuce Staley drill. You know what I'm talking about? Where they have the 3, it's like choppy feet, and then you have to run and cut.
Yeah,
He ran that better than anybody
for sure.
From what I could see, A-Chain dominated that drill. Although,
yeah, I mean, it looked like it was his drill. I mean, he looked like he's been doing that every day since birth.
The first one, though, he didn't cut around the dummy. He just bolted over.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but the feet looked – I mean, his feet are so quick, man. I really liked what I saw out of him. He's now rookie draftable for me in the second round. I'll take a flyer on him and see if because he's never going to be a lead back. He doesn't have that size, but he's the type of guy that could be a weak winner for you. I don't know, 6 to 8 times a year you throw him in, and then the other 8 times he at least gets you 10 points because he's involved. But 6 to 8 times a year he's going to hit a home run for you, I feel like, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame there were no really freakishly standout performances in this combine for the running backs. They were all just kind of,
as far
good.
As the 40.
Yeah. The drills, there were some really good performances. But yeah, as far as, even I think I kind of mentioned it before, but Tank Bigsby, definitely not Tank Bigsby. Bijan Robinson's combine, I mean, it was good, and he looked really good, and he looked super chiseled, and he looked, the part and everything. But then, you compare his numbers to, Saquon and Jonathan Taylor, and he's just not that level athlete. which is fine because the production is just out of this world insane.
The other
but-
one, did you guys realize Edgerrin James ran a 4.38?
Yeah, he's fast. He's a fast boy.
That is insane.
Yeah.
At his size, he was huge. And they wore the big shoulder pads too back then.
Yeah.
But I remember him dicing us up a bunch of times, and just 4.38.
Yeah, he's a fast boy.
As a 225-pound back or whatever he was. That's insane. And Jonathan Taylor too.
Jonathan Taylor was no Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, well,
what did Saquon Barkley did like the 225? No. Saquon Barkley lifted a 225 like 29 times or 28 times or something crazy like that, and jumped like a 41 vert and ran to 4.4 flat.
Was it 4.4? Taylor was sub 4.4.
He beat him by 1/100th of a second, but Barkley outdid him by a huge margin in almost every other event.
Gotcha.
Barkley's like, I remember that combine because I was like, oh, I hope the Giants get this guy, which we did, whatever. So, anyways, there was no performances like that, but it was fun seeing Bijan, and he's impressive. He's really impressive.
Smooth, flawless. He's solidified himself as the Dynasty 101, in my opinion.
For sure.
All right.
Mike, move us on.
What about tight ends, guys? Let's hear. I know I was texting you guys earlier in the week, and I was looking at Kuiper's mock draft 2.0 or whatever, and there were like 4 or 5.
Yeah, you said 5 tight ends in the first round.
It's something like that. I'm gonna bring it up to check for sure. But what did you guys see from?
Yeah, don't be slandering Mel Kiper on this podcast. He's gonna hear it. He's gonna hear it and give us a call.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're gonna hear from his people. I'm going to go first because there's a guy I love, and it was I noticed it mostly on the gauntlet, and that's Will Mallory. Dude has the softest hands, man, and he's maybe a little bit undersized and is probably not going to be a great inline blocker. But dude, I'm telling you, he is a natural receiver. He looked really good, and then he ran. Let's see. I'm sorry. Should have brought up Will Mallory before this, but I think he was the fastest tight end. My results: 40 tight ends.
Yeah, I didn't get to see his performance, so it'll be.
Yeah, no, he looked really good, really smooth, really soft hands. He looked like a big ass receiver running the gauntlet.
Yeah, I watched a few Miami games and he looked, pretty good. But there's so many good tight ends in this class. It's going to be super interesting to see where they all end up.
All right, so yeah, he's undersized for sure for a tight end, 6'4.5", 239, but 4.5, 4.40 at that size is pretty damn good. 1.59 split is really good. 36, 6.5 vert is not great. And 10-1 broad is not great either. 20 on the bench press is okay for a tight end. But, man, he just looks so smooth. He's my he's my vote for, or my nomination for this year's Isaiah Likely. Just somebody that can be taken and used as a big slot or just a big outside receiver, somebody that you can move around a bit. He just looks so smooth and so natural with his hands that I think he can just be kind of used as a chess piece and make sure that you get the right player covering him, and it mismatches all that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I can't say that I watched a whole hell of a lot of him, but and I don't think he was a very productive player. So
no, he was. He wasn't. Yeah. His production scores like a 69. It's really bad. The other one I liked was Sam Laporta. He also ran a 4.59. He looked really good too in the drills. I actually thought he stood out in the drills. He's 6'3", 245, so a little bit bigger, but not really. Also a little smaller, but had some better production. Iowa, I can't say I've watched him at all.
Yeah.
I had heard the name, but I didn't know who he was at all. But he looked good. He looked like a receiver out there.
Yeah, I like Sam Laporta. The one guy that I was very curious about. I won't say that, I mean, I obviously was very impressed by Zach Kuntz, but yeah. I have not seen anything because I just never watched Old Dominion. And yeah, I wrote some of his stuff down here while I was watching the combine because I was like, I mean, absolutely insane. So, he's 6'7". I think I didn't write down his weight, but I think it was around 260. And he ran a 4.55.
4.55, yeah.
Yeah, 1.57 10-yard split, 40-inch vert. How are you 6'7" and can jump 40 inches? Like, what does that make you, like 50 feet tall? Like, what is it like? I don't understand. How is that even physically possible?
It makes you a switchable wing in the NBA.
Who allowed that? But yeah, and then his broad was 10.8, and he was one of the guys that actually did the shuttle and the bench.
He did everything, didn't he?
Yeah, which was really impressive. So I think he put up 23 reps. So it has something about him there.
4.12 shuttle at his size.
4.12, yeah.
He's 6'7", 255. I know, like, people that don't like watch this shit or study it, like, or prep for it, probably don't understand. That's disgusting.
Yeah, so I know nothing about him. I'm not saying he's a great player. I know nothing about him. I've never watched Old Dominion. Well, that's a lie, but I haven't watched Old Dominion this past season at all.
Old Dirty University.
Yeah, and so he probably, I mean, maybe he sucks, but God, that's impressive, man. To be that weight and that height, like, that is freak athleticism. Athleticism.
Out of everyone that we've talked about, the testing scores, so NFL gives them an athleticism score based on their test or their combine results.
Which side are you on?
NFL.
Oh, NFL.com.
So everybody else that we've been talking about has either been in the 70s or 80s. Kuntz is a 94.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm surprised it's not even higher than that.
I mean, number one out of tight ends. I actually didn't. I didn't look at Anthony Richardson. I'm going to look at him right now.
Oh, he's got to be 99th. I don't think anybody's ever done what he did.
It's not a percentile. It's just a score.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's not like
his workout metrics.
Oh, it is a 90. He is a 90.
All above 90th percentile. So, yeah, his athleticism is off the charts. Interesting.
But yeah, so I was just very, very, very surprised by him and very interested to find out more about him. So I'm gonna check him out, and I'm sure I'll come back in a future show and tell everybody what I think. But
so, can I tell you? Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. You do your job.
No. First of all, I just wanted to fix myself. Mel Kiper had 4 tight ends in the first round. So
yeah, don't slander Mel Kiper.
So it was Mayer, Kincaid, Musgrave, and Washington. So
Mayer, Kincaid, Musgrave, and Washington. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. A lot of people are down on I'm still out on A-Chain at cost. Brian Ford says in the chat. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's going to be very divisive. He's going to be a guy where some people are just not drafting him at all, and some people are saying, okay, well, if I can get him in the, mid-second, late second, then that's going to be cool. So, yeah, I don't even know where I fit. I think the NFL is going to dictate a lot of that, where he's drafted, when he's drafted, because his measurables are just so unorthodox that I don't feel like, as a non-NFL decision maker myself, right? I'm not going to be able to give him playing time. So if he's selected in the 4th, 5th round, then he's not going to be on my draft board. But if he's a day 2 pick, then I mean, hey, the NFL telling you what they think about him.
Exactly.
So Darnell Washington in the sled blocking drill was completely different than anyone else.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it was just It was special. He took 4 strides and moved the sled 5 yards further than anyone. Where everybody else was taking 10 or 15 strides and moving it a little bit, he took 4 strides and was already downfield. The man is. I'm gonna borrow a line from Brian Ford, who borrowed a line from Game of Thrones, when the hooker saw Hodor's unit. She goes, "You must be part giant." Yeah. Darnell Washington is part giant, and
Nice.
he also had a ridiculous one-handed catch in the drills that was sick. That was a better catch than anybody in the entire day, wide receivers included. It was awesome. And he didn't get his second toe in bounds, so it didn't count.
But Kuntz jumps 11 inches higher than he does, so that makes no difference at all to what we're talking about.
I know, but
they're both 6'7", so I was like, that's fun to think about.
They could have both been out in Game of Thrones. Tight ends. I will tell you that Will Mallory dropped for me. He looks stiffer than I expected. He had a couple drops. He fell. He didn't look good.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was kind of falling though. I think on that turf was pretty beat up. You know, there was a lot of slipping going on.
There was some slipping going on, but I mean,
I don't understand why they do it on turf there in Indy, but I guess because the dome and stuff. But
I don't know.
It seems like everybody loses their footing there.
Yeah, I don't know why it started there, but at this point, it seems like it's just like tradition.
Yeah, there forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really notice him in the drills, but I think during the tight end drills, I was really just in and out. So I don't have anything written down for him.
I was a little bit too. He didn't pop for me, and I didn't think he looked good in the gauntlet. Like I said, he looked stiff. He fell. He dropped some balls. He didn't look great. He's got to drop a little bit for me. Not tremendously far in a tight end premium. He's still a late first rounder, but I had him at like 107, 108. And he's not what I expected. Disappointed that Musgrave didn't really compete, or Darnell Washington. Those are probably the top two. What everybody thought were going to be the top 2 athletes, right? Oh wait.
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to see Dalton Kincaid, what his testing would come in at.
Oh, I guess. Wait, Luke Musgrave did run. I just brought him up. I thought he didn't run. Okay, he's a 4.61. Oh no, he did. That's right. Everyone, I kept hearing he was going to be in the 4.4s, and I did not see it on tape.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't see it on tape. And Chad, this is why I didn't want to do tight ends last week.
I thought he had a pretty good day, Musgrave. I mean, I think maybe the 4.6 is a little slower than what people anticipated.
Average across the board.
But I remember thinking he was all right.
All right, 4.61, 1.54 split, 36 vert, 10.5 broad, and didn't do anything else.
I think it's okay.
Yeah,
that's pretty good
across the board. 6'6", 253. Probably a little thin for his height, but just on tape, I never thought he popped as much as other people say. And let me tell you something: the man cannot block, so he will never be a traditional tight end. Ever. Yeah. He's not even the type of guy that can learn the block. Like he's not. He gave effort, but just couldn't do it. I watched it; it's ugly.
And Jesse knows because he's been teaching tight ends to block for years.
I have in my my 15 years of experience. Yeah. Seriously though, I watched him because I had a conversation with Dallas and Dallas Hyder, the resident DWZ rookie expert. Told me to go look at that, and I did, and it's fucking bad, man.
Nice. So, I mean, not nice. Not nice.
It's not nice. So Luke Musgrave to me is don't take him before the 3rd round, in my opinion.
Cool. Yeah. Is there Is there
That's all I
anything
got,
else?
'cause we're at about an hour, so I did that. Those were all the questions I had. So unless there's anybody else, maybe one last guy we didn't talk about that you guys wanted to discuss.
I have one last one. Do you, Chad?
No, I don't have one last guy.
Um, Xavier Hutchinson did one thing that was really interesting to me, and that was the his I think it was his 3-cone.
Mm-hmm.
He was second or third in 3-cone at his height out of all the wide receivers was pretty impressive. So, all right, here he is. So Xavier Hutchinson, Iowa State.
Yep.
He's one of the guys he's one of the tier of big receivers that we wanted to see test just to see what he was all about. Didn't run real fast, 4.53, 36-inch vert, not great. The 3-cone 6.91 is actually really good for his size, I guess, because he was just compared to other receivers in this class, was really good.
Was it?
Yeah, let me look.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that doesn't sound super impressive. I don't know
No,
if
once
it was
I
just
read
that
it.
bad.
That sound impressive coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy how little of the wide receivers did the 3-cone.
1, 2, 3, 4. He was fifth out of about 15 wide receivers that ran it. So,
Okay.
So all right. So there are a couple other things that I want to bring up real quick. Number one, JSN was first by a lot in 3-cone at a 6.57, and that just kind of shows what he can do. He didn't run the 40, but all his other testing numbers were really, really good.
Nice.
So don't worry about JSN. Bryce Ford Wheaton from West Virginia. Anybody ever heard of this guy?
Nope.
Chad?
No, what school does he go to?
West Virginia.
No, I haven't watched a lot of West Virginia.
All right. 6'4", 221, ran a 4.38, 41.
Yeah.
Bird.
Oh yeah. I remember him on the broadcast. Yep.
10
Yeah, that was
broad jump.
really impressive.
4.15 shuttle is really good too at his size. 6.97 3-cone is lit. No, not so good. But holy shit, 6'4". Let me say it again: 6'4", 220, 221 ran a 4.38 with a 41-inch vert. That's
yeah.
That's the athleticism score is an 88. So that's out of a guy I've never heard of. This is sort of maybe like the Velus Jones or the Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah. I don't know really anything about him, so I don't know how productive he was, but I think if he was a productive player, I would probably know more about him.
Oh, he was not. His production score is a 59.
Okay.
So he didn't do the damn thing in college, apparently.
Yeah, he's probably going to be one of those late round picks. But yeah, that's super, super impressive.
Keep him on your radar. That it just seems to me that this is the type of player that sometimes, like last year, I didn't know who Velus. All I'm saying is I didn't know who Velus Jones or Tyquan Thornton were until the combine, and then when they both got overdrafted because of their testing numbers.
Yeah. Well, the Raiders got to pick at some point. So
yeah, exactly.
I got one question for you guys. So is there any guy after the combine, and not just saying this has to be specifically about the combine, but just all the information that you've gathered thus far, because, we're always learning new things, and especially in the Patreon chat with how lively it is this time of year. We're all just in the learning process. Is there one guy that you've kind of found out more information about, or maybe, you're just getting introduced to, or maybe you've had a long introduction to them already and a lot about them, but you found something else you really like about them? Just any kind of player like that going into the draft you're very excited about and you think you're going to try to get some shares of.
Mike?
Give me a second to think. I'm thinking.
So, I'm sorry. clarify just a player that I love that I'm excited to get?
Yeah, I mean anything. So just that you found more information about during this process, or people have told you something about them. You've gone back and looked and found something new about them. Just anything that kind of comes to you that you want to talk about.
Yeah, Zay Flowers and Marvin Mims. Those are both players that I had as late second round picks, and I've through the process learned a lot more about them and have moved them up to high second round picks. Just the athleticism is a lot better. The Zay Flowers hands are just absolutely elite. Marvin Mims has good hands too. So yeah, both of those players I really like. Also a guy that we haven't brought up tonight is Parker Washington. I did not see him at the combine. I know he didn't run a 40. I don't know if he tested at all, but if you listen to my father, he's going to be one of the best players in the NFL because he went to Penn State. But keep your eye on him. I think he could develop into a good wide receiver too in the NFL. He is a guy that I have on my radar as like a early third as a rookie pick as of this point.
Nice. What about you, Mike?
I'm looking at. I think Rashee Rice is one that has grown on me a lot, and I've been hearing more and more about. And then I think his combine will only help him. So, like I said, for me, a lot of this goes into draft capital, so I'll get a lot more excited come the NFL draft. When that's when you see what these teams actually think of them. So, last year we were thinking Malik was still going to be a late first round pick or something like that, and doesn't get picked until the third. So I don't think we'll have any of that with the quarterbacks this year, but it'll be interesting. I think it'll be interesting with the running backs. How many go in like the first 3 rounds could be really interesting. Really shake things, change the dynasty landscape.
Nice, man. Yeah, for me, there's one guy that I watched a little bit of because I really liked the quarterback they had last year and everything, but Tyler Scott from Cincinnati. I didn't watch a whole lot of Cincinnati, but I watched some, and I've been trying to do a player a week, and just kind of get as acclimated to them as I possibly can be. And Tyler Scott's been the guy this week for me, ending today. And then just seeing his numbers with running the 4.44 and his 10-yard split was impressive. I don't remember what it was. The 39.5 vert, and a pretty good broad jump. He tested really, really well. And the more that I saw him on tape, the more I liked him. And then just going through and reading a lot of the scouting experts that I respect and their opinions on him, seems to be they're pretty high on him as well. So he might be a guy that not a lot of people are talking about, but might end up going a little bit higher than people are giving him credit for. So he's a guy that I'm really excited about, and I really want to see where he ends up.
So I only know who he is from Sleeper. Every time I go into like the draft room in one of my leagues in Sleeper, there are 2 T Scotts next to each other. One of them is Tyler Scott, and I think the other one is Tucker Scott. So I'm interested to see which T Scott is better.
Nice. Yeah, it's probably going to be Tyler Scott. He's a bad guy. So yeah, go ahead and check him out if you have some time, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I think he's a guy that people are just not talking about much, and he might find himself in the second round and has some decent draft capital, and he's a good player.
Huh. All right. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at it. Right on. Hey, are we going to do our draft special again this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
All right. Cool.
Throw some Jeopardy in there. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, I was about to say.
That was going to be really awkward if you asked that on air and I was like, yeah, and Mike was like, no.
Well, what I was going to say is tough. So I'm doing it without you.
It's the end of April, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's when the semester's wrapping up. So yeah.
So we'll do it on day 2, Friday night. Last year I think we went 4.5, 5 hours. I fell asleep.
I fell asleep too. I'm pretty sure. So
that was a lot of fun.
I think at some point, like, we had Patreon members and stuff on the stream, just carrying the stream.
I was Brian. actually.
Bro, oh, was it? I was asleep,
Yes.
so I didn't know. So thank you, Brian.
Yeah, the fourth member of our broadcast just carried.
Nice.
Yeah, right on. All right, so that was a hell of a broadcast, or that was a hell of a podcast. I keep saying broadcast.
It's because you're stuck in the 50s, Jesse. We know. World War II has ended.
Oh god.
Emergency broadcasts are over.
Oh my god.
Dun, dun.
I'm gonna end this on this. I saw something today that the young folks these days are doing a thing called I don't know what it's called, but they do as little as possible on Mondays. Oh, bare minimum Mondays, right? And they just go into work and they do as little as possible on a Monday because they're hungover. And whoever I heard say this made a really good point. Like all the World War II veterans are just rolling in their graves because that's what they died for. For people, that's what they gave their lives.
I thought bare minimum Mondays were just Monday.
Yeah, that's Monday in general, right?
Yeah. That's every single Monday. We didn't have to name it.
Well, I
Just
guess
do
God-
it. Just do the bare minimum, and then
Yeah.
it is what
Well,
it is.
If they don't tell everybody what they're doing and why, that they don't feel seen. Obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just do a football podcast, you dumb shits.
What happened to people just doing the bare minimum and just not having to explain it to everybody? The good old days.
The good old days. Oh God, Mike, do you think we could have gone all night with this shit?
Not all night, but yeah, definitely to the wee hours.
I think an hour is pretty good.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Oh, when will this end?
Never.
Not